Yeah, I saw red and I was out for blood. One of the small defenders was a MMA fighter, trained with like Conor McGregor and those guys. And I hope he doesn't come to us. I won't be able to say too much for the game. Pre-booked him the ambulance for round 2. So, and then my thumb, it still just pops out.
Oh, jeez.
If you do want to get into it, like I guarantee you, if you have a winner, there'll be no better feeling.
Welcome to Perth's #1 podcast. You're listening to the Jamo and Dylan Show.
Yeah, we're on the way to Dunsborough, little mad trip with the boys.
G'day guys and welcome back to the Jamo and Dylan Show. Today we have a very special guest, one of my favourite footballers of all time. Being a Dockers man myself, it's Hayden Ballantyne. Welcome to the show.
Thanks boys, thanks for having me.
So plenty coming up for you. We'll get onto that in a bit. Ballers is going to be having a fight. You'll be fighting Boomer Harvey, Brent Harvey, games record holder for the AFL, and that'll be a great fight. That's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Are you excited?
Yeah, pumped. I was a bit nervous when we threw out the challenge to some ex-players. No one was taking me up, but Boomer's jumped on board. He's done a bit of training for boxing for a while, so he's wanted to do one for a while, he said. So he's pretty excited.
That's
so
really exciting. And similar like height and weight, is it?
Yeah, so we're fighting I forget the weight category, super middle or something like that. So 76 kilos. But yeah, I lost 6 kilos in my first month of training. So I'll have no problem with the weight. And
you were telling us before you started that it was just through all the hard work, wasn't it? Because you're still eating like you want to.
I'm eating more, really. Like I've been eating like I'm still playing footy. But yeah, it's just the training. It's a different type of fitness. Like I was fit when I was playing, but now I've got a similar level of fitness, just different. Like, yeah, my tank's a lot better. I wish I did more boxing while I was playing.
Elite, that's good. Because we watched some promo stuff like for the fight, and you did do a lot of boxing when you were playing, which is, good preparation, I guess. You've been doing it for years. And did you ever, when you were playing, have any like spars, like proper spars with people?
Yeah, a couple of times. So the first time we did sparring was my first year. And we got beat by Melbourne. We're up by 30 points at half time. I wasn't playing. I think I was injured or maybe suspended.
Yeah.
But we got rolled. Austin Wanamiri, he kicked 4 in the second half and beat us. So I had to. Mark Harvey said, "Get your gloves, get your mouth guards down to Springer's gym and have a punch on." So. And my opponent was Roger Hayden, who could fairly go. So I got in the ring and was throwing a few, and he hit me with one, and I raged a bit. Like I've got a bit of a tweak, and I raged and started throwing haymakers and gave Roger a shiner.
Oh, really?
I felt a bit bad afterwards. But yeah, we had a couple of little sparring sessions like that. Yeah. Also, it was a punishment more than fitness for not playing like we should.
Which coach had the harshest punishments?
I'd say Ross was harsh, and it's not intentionally punishing you, but every Monday the post game review, we'd have a slide, all these slides of our trademark, what's expected and what's not expected. And if you were on the what's not expected, that was the biggest punishment because you've let your team down. And I love being on the good side, like run down. And it was never a great mark or a great kick that he highlighted. It was the run down tackles, the putting your head over the ball, the blocking for your teammates, and stuff that I naturally did anyway. I enjoyed the physicality of that.
So you're on the good side of fair bit?
I was mostly on the good side, but if there was one occasion where I remember I didn't chase out. I thought he was going to kick the ball, so I stopped chasing, and then he continued on and set up a goal, and I was showed on that, and I thought, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can do it.
I thought, fuck, I don't want to be in this again. Yeah. So from then on, I just not from then on. I generally gave everything anyway, but I just thought it's a great highlight for everyone else. Like, give your best, and and you'll be recognised by your peers that you're doing everything you can to win.
And I guess that stuff would stick in your head too. If you've made that mistake, you know not to do it again.
Yeah.
So I guess it is a good thing. It seems like Ross has mellowed out a little bit. In the media and stuff lately, he seems to be a bit different. Yeah. Maybe he's changed his ways, or maybe he's just putting on a front.
I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but knowing Ross very, very well, I highly doubt that. But In saying that as well, there's a cut that I don't have many regrets playing football. Like I always play with my heart on my sleeve and that. But the couple of regrets I do have are things that no one else would have seen and no one would have picked up. But another one was in my last season. I didn't chase. It was just I didn't chase out like I would normally do because we were getting smashed by GWS, and a couple of teammates were not pulling their weight as well. And I thought, fuck, what am I doing? And I remember I made the decision to not chase. I thought, what am I doing? Like, fucking pull your head in. That's not what you do. And the other one, I've said this before. It's my first season. Matty Scarlett stuck his knee in Pab's back, and I didn't go remonstrate. And I thought that'll never happen again either. And stuff that no one else would have seen, but I remember it, and not what I want to be remembered for.
Just want to backtrack to your childhood, your upbringing. Tell us where it was, what it was about, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Baldivis. Went to Baldivis Primary School. My wife also went to Baldivis Primary School.
Same year group? Or?
No, she's a couple of years, 3 years younger.
Yeah.
But I played footy with her brother. He's a year younger. And Baldivis is a small town. We had a mixed age group. So, 13s and 14s played together. So we played a bit of footy together. My dad's a horse trainer. So I started riding track work when I was 12. Technically I'm meant to, but I was riding a bit of work when I was 12, so which put me in good stead because it's hard work to control a 500 kilo animal. So it built up a good strong core for me and built a bit of strength just by doing something that I like doing. And first horse I ever galloped was my favourite, a big grey horse. He's a beautiful horse, and he was my favourite. And I said, Dad, let me gallop him. He goes, you won't be able to hold him. I said, I will, me being a smart ass. So I got on and he's let me go, and we're going up the hill. And he's gone. His horse just bolted on me. I couldn't stop him. And all I hear is, Dad, just steer. So that's all I could do. I was just trying to steer this horse. And he got back to the barn and he just stopped and walked into the tie-up. So, it was a hard working upbringing, but I think it's put me in good stead. Like I enjoy hard work, and I used to get a few kicks in the ass, but I got taught a good work ethic.
100%. What about the first time you played footy? Were you playing from like 6 years old, or was it something that came a bit later?
Yeah, I was kicked, played Baldivis. I was kicked. My pop was probably the main driver for football for me. He loved footy, mad West Coast supporter. I was a West Coast supporter growing up, unfortunately.
I was saying that to Dill before, like Jordan Clark was. We had him on the show. A lot of people are, but once you're in the industry, it's a professional job.
When I was a kid, they were the only WA side. So, waffle wasn't really a thing then because West Coast had come in, so I followed West Coast, and Pop took me to most of my footy games. I was kicked. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember I got sent off once because I swore at the umpire, who's one of the dads.
So you've always been instigator.
I've always been a bit of a shit. But I always knew I was pretty handy at football. It was just my stature that let me down. I was always the shortest. That's why I wore number 1, because that was the smallest jersey.
That is how it works with your kid.
The smallest jersey started from number 1 that went up from there. So that's why, I was always number 1. Always loved footy. Always had a footy in my hand when I was a kid. And, it was something I was always hoping to. Well, I kind of had a choice. And Dad said this, if you want to play footy, start doing weights, start, running and that. If you want to be a jockey, stop eating and lose some weight and be a jockey. And, luckily I pulled the right rein and chose footy.
At least you're involved in racing now. So although you missed out on, I guess, being a jockey, you were still, doing track work and stuff like that prior to that?
Prior to that, for a few years anyway. And then school wasn't really for me. Like I said, bit of a shithead. Teachers didn't like me too much. I didn't like them too much. More the authority of it. Yeah. But I finished school at year 10, got a Boilermaker welder apprenticeship. So that's what I did as a trade. Had a few odd jobs here and there while I was still playing waffle footy, coming through the ranks. And when I was 18, I was thinking I had a pretty good 18s carnival, thinking I was going to get drafted. Didn't, which was pretty shattering. But I didn't bitch about it. I just got on the horse, trained hard, had 3 years of waffle footy, and my third year I had a really good year, and pretty much gave most clubs no option but to give me a go.
What it takes 70 goals, right? To get
76,
to
yeah.
get a shot.
You know what? I got 76. They marked me down in the records or whatever as 75, so they've ripped me one off there.
Oh, that's not good. Sand over medal that year as well. What was it like, your time at Peel?
I loved it. Like, I love the club. You know, they've given me so much, given me opportunities. The people, like, I'm great mates with a lot of those boys that I played with.
Yeah.
Going over to Canada for one of their weddings next month. So
it's unreal.
Yeah, made some lifelong friendships, but we weren't very good. But I never recognised that much. So I loved it, and I wanted to drive the club as much as I could and win as many games as I could. And 2008 obviously had a really good season. Kicked a lot of goals and played a good game. And Chris Waterman was a big driver of that, because the 2 previous years I played midfield and went good. Like the year before, I think I finished 4th in the Sandover. I was 19 or something, and playing midfield, getting plenty of the ball, still kicked 35 or something goals. So I had a relatively good season, but still didn't get picked up. So he said, go play forward and try out as a small forward. And so I did that, and being a midfielder, I knew how to find the ball. And the one thing I used to get to training an hour early, and I'd have 50, 60 shots, because that was one thing that kind of let me down a bit, was finish. So I just made that, just tried to master that as much as I could, and it definitely paid off, because the first half of the year, I was don't want to sound too big-headed, but I was flying.
Yeah, that's elite. And getting picked up that year, so you knew you had a good year. Was there interest that you knew of from other clubs? Did you meet with like a few clubs? How did that work?
Yeah, so I had interviews, and they do all sorts of psych tests and stuff like that. So majority of the clubs I had some sort of contact with, but the main interest was from Hawthorn, Port Adelaide, West Coast and Freo. They were the 4 main ones.
How interesting it would have been if it was Hawthorn.
Yeah, well, they were gonna use their first pick, pick 17, I think it was, on me, and that would have been unreal. The only one I wasn't too keen on is Adelaide, because there's not a whole lot going on in Adelaide. But
that deal was actually an Adelaide supporter.
I'm a Crows fan.
Yeah. So that's so one. I would have loved to go to any club, just get on a list and give me a chance, really. So it honestly wouldn't have bothered me. But if I had a choice, I would have preferred Victoria or stay in the home state. But West Coast said they were going to use pick 20. They passed, and then
who did they pick instead?
Tom Swift.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tom
they
Swift.
picked him, and then 21 Freo picked me up. So I was in Secret Harbour. Mark Pink, he he put a breakfast on and had a few friends around, and name got called out, and it was kind of was a bit emotional, but more relieved, like the hard work paid off. Yeah.
It probably hit a little bit different, considering you were drafted or you missed out when you were 18.
Yeah, and you're a bit older.
And then, was there at any point you were thinking maybe it won't happen?
A little bit, yeah. Like for those first 2 years as a midfielder, but then when I got that niche in the forward line and went so well, I thought if they don't pick me up, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I had a really good year, but I was when they called my name out, it was almost an instant feeling of, right, now I'm going to show these pricks. They should have picked me up 3 years ago. Show everyone, and I just got to work straight away, and I was just very grateful. I think because I was in the real world for a few years. I actually had a 9-to-5 job. I had to go to training at 4:30. When everyone else was there at 5:30, I had to do extra, and I had to live the real world life for a few years, so I appreciated it. I'm not saying that younger draftees don't appreciate it, but I think I just had that extra appreciation because, there's albeit it's hard work and a pre-season, I definitely prefer that than being in a factory welding.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
What were your first memories of going to Freo? Who were, I guess, your first mates at the club, and just some stories around that?
So I was drafted with Nick Subin, Stephen Hill, Michael Walters, Greg Broughton.
Pretty good draft crop.
We had 14 come in. 14 in that season between the draft and the rookie list. And I already knew Greggy Broughton, and we were already kind of mates. We had a few sessions after we played Subiaco a few times. So I knew him quite well. So we had a good connection straight away. And the senior players, I'd actually played against a few of them in the waffle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I was part of their team now, but they still, were like a bit iffy about me.
Yeah.
If there was an AFL player playing in the waffle, they were a target for me, and I really went hard at them.
Yeah.
And I suppose they're a little bit sour because I got on top of them sometimes. But yeah, once it got to training, and I really showed what I had in training. Like I trained really hard, and I think a lot of them appreciated it. And Aaron Sandlands, he was the other one. Like we just bonded pretty quickly. Like I've said before, we've got a similar IQ. We go on a similar wavelength, so we were pretty tight straight away as well.
Yeah. Do you reckon that helps? Sandy, country kid?
He's a country lad, from Mount Barker.
Do you reckon that helps you get along with him because there's that, I guess, real world experience?
Yeah, I think so, because he also was drafted as a 19-year-old, so he had a year in the real world as well. He used to mow lawns with his old man before going to training. And
doesn't he have a business around that now?
Yeah, he's got Gecko Contracting. I actually drove past one of them mowing the Verge Way on the way here. So he's
You wouldn't miss him, hey? On the lawns.
You should see him in a ride-on. He's like this in the ride-on. He doesn't fit too well in it. But yeah, he's one of the nicest people I ever meet. Yeah. But again, he appreciates being on a list because he's been in the real world, and his work ethic was second to none.
Yeah. Who are some of the other best blokes, or like your closest mates from footy clubs?
Kepler Bradley is one of the funniest men. He should be doing a podcast because the stories he's got and the way he tells his stories, it's just hilarious. And he's one you could just spend a whole afternoon having a few beers listening to him talk shit, and you'd be in stitches laughing because we would hang out quite a bit. We had a couple of trips away, and he was very good value. Zachy Dawson, Lee Spur. Favourite saying is "Shut up, Spurry," because he just talks too much. Yeah. But Mickey Barlow, pretty much everyone you went to war with week after week. You just had this bond. Like certain players that you knew were going to give everything for you. You just had that. I just had that instant respect for them, and I think they reciprocated that as well with me because they knew what they were going to get every week. So blokes that you went in and went to war with every week. You had a respect for them, and you enjoyed their company off the field because you fought so hard on the footy field. When you go and let your hair down and have a beer, you like hanging out with them.
For sure.
Who do you think is your most underrated teammate on field that you played with throughout your career?
He might not like me saying he's underrated, but David Mundy.
Yeah.
He was such a good player. I think he only had one All-Australian where, in my eyes, he's as good as a Scott Pendlebury. Yeah. Smooth mover, beautiful kick, beautiful decision maker. Everything they look, the way they see the game is very similar. They're very similar players. They're both actually really slow. They can't run very fast, but it's like time slows down for them on the footy field.
It looks like that, doesn't it? I completely agree.
People are running past Pendles or Dave Mundy, and they're just running past them, and they're just it's like
finding so much space in the pocket.
Motion. Yeah, and they were just he was one that, albeit he won a few best and fairest and that. I think he should be right up there with some of the best midfielders going around.
100%. I feel like that too. His recognition kind of only came late. Like he did get a lot of recognition towards the back end of his career, but like you said, only the one All-Australian win.
He was a bit of a slow starter. It took him a few years to really get his niche in the game, but he's a player you used to love leading at because you just knew that's where it was going to be.
Yeah. Who are your favourite players in the competition? Do you watch much footy now or not as much?
I watch a bit. The game frustrates me now a bit because they've taken a lot of what I enjoyed out of it.
I was actually going to ask you that. It's written down here. What are the aspects? Obviously, a lot of former players don't like the way the game's going because a lot of the stuff that you like to do is being taken out. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can't understand it. The game wasn't broken. Don't try and fix it. I fully understand, you got to try and protect the head and concussions and stuff like that, but I think they've gone too far with it. And even the way the umpires umpire, it's so different week after week.
Yeah.
If it was consistent every week with every umpire,
Yep.
no worries, because you know what to expect. But one week there's a push in the back marked this way, and then the following week it's marked this way. It's like, well, what the fuck? What are we doing? Like, no wonder the players and the fans are getting frustrated because it's changing every week. So consistency is the main thing, particularly for the players, because we're the ones out there apparently making the mistakes. So give us a baseline and fucking stick to it, because that's my one real piss off is the inconsistencies.
Is it just as confusing for players sometimes as it is for us as fans watching the game? Like with decisions that are made and
100%.
Conversations after that around the club?
Yeah, like you play a game and like the umpires, I've never seen an umpire change his mind, which is fine. But like I said, consistency, because one week you see, oh, that was all right. Like the push in the back one is a good example, because they've said you can hold your ground now. You can use your hands to hold your ground. And I think it was in the Freo game last week. A player did that, and he didn't fully push him. He just held him and then went like that, and hands in the back. So, well, for the last whatever I can remember, you were allowed to hold your ground. So that's the my one big peeve. And like this new tunnelling thing, again, if it's there, but I don't know if he got off or not. Toby Green, he got done for tunnelling. It's like he's literally coming in to try and intercept the ball.
Yeah.
He's turned, he's about to get killed, so he's protected himself. And he got off. I think he got offered a few weeks for it. So how does that happen?
Yeah. Who are some of your favourite players, I guess, from other teams that you played against?
Yeah.
And also I want to know your toughest opponent, whether they were playing directly on you or if they were just, a great midfielder or something.
Well, Chris Judd was like an idol growing up. He's someone I loved watching him, like Benny Cousins, Kerr, when those boys run around. It was good to watch. And my second game we played, this is when he moved to Carlton, we played against Carlton. I chased him down and tackled him.
That would have been a surreal moment.
It was, it was pretty early in the game too. And I helped him up, and I never helped, like, they're the opposition.
It was the only time you ever did it in your
career.
career.
I've helped him up, and he's jogged off, and I was like, fuck, got him. But yeah, that was pretty cool, playing against Juddy. Hardest opponents, they're actually both Adelaide boys. Graham Johncock, he was just an unreal player. He'd run off. This is when the defenders would actually run off and take the game on rather than just trying to stop you. So remember one of the first games I played against him, he kicked 2 goals and I'm meant to be the forward. He kicked 2 goals. I'm like, fuck, that's not going to look good in the review. And then Luke Smith, I'm pretty sure that Luke Smith, he was the opposite. He was a lockdown.
Okay.
Like, he didn't care if he didn't get a kick as long as you didn't get a kick. And I used to struggle to get any separation from him. They were both real tough. And the best players, like, it's the ones that everyone knows. Gary Ablett, it just, what he did at Gold Coast is just unreal, because they were, let's be honest, they were pretty ordinary. Yeah. And he's won a Brownlow. I remember I lined him up from 30 metres away one day, came in, tried to steamroll him, and he just flicked me off and went and kicked a goal, and I was actually winded. I'm like, how did, like, just the power that man has was just phenomenal. Same as Dangerfield, same thing. I've come in off the square, centre square bounce, gone to tackle him, and I've hit him with everything I've got, and he just stood there. And I'm like hanging on to one leg, and he's just got the handball away. And then he took off. I'm like, some blokes just built different. And those two stand out just for their power that they had.
What about like prime Nat Fyfe? Was he unreal at training? Like, was he just as good in training as he was in games?
Not really. Like, because he had to manage his body quite a bit. Because he was so powerful, that was kind of his downfall too. Like, he had to really manage his body so he was ready for games. Yeah. But every now and then he'd do something at training. It's like, Jesus, that was pretty handy. I'm glad he's on our team. Yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete. And then I think his best season was 14 when he was like, he'd roll off around half back and take those big intercept marks in defence. And it's like, he was like a secret weapon where he'd stop the goals, stop that forward thrust of the opposition. pass it off, and then we'd go bang, go forward.
Yeah.
So that was, if he wasn't suspended, I definitely think he would have won the Brown like that. Yeah.
It was a good season for you too, wasn't it? 14, all Australian.
Yeah. And I reckon that was our team's best season as well.
Yeah.
Later in that year, injuries really ravished us. Luke McFarlane, Jamo, Pav. I broke my jaw in the final. Like it was, injuries took a toll towards the back half that year. But we were humming. Like we gelled together so well. I think the sting from the year before, losing the grand final, really urged us along.
Yeah.
And 14, we were rocketing.
Do you still feel the sting from the grand final now, or is it kind of the longer you've had to think about it, you're just like, it's footy?
Nah, still stings.
Yeah. Same.
It was an opportunity missed, I think. Like Ross had a stat, we had 17 marks inside 50. And if you look at every game that season, that stat wins every game.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was an opportunity miss.
Did he bring that to you at the start of the 14 season, like that stat?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. That was like the opening meeting.
Yeah.
He said, things that let us down, and that was one of them. That's the one that sticks out to me because being a forward, 17 marks should be, even if you're kicking at 50%, there should be at least 8 or 9 goals.
Yeah.
But as disappointing as it was losing, we busted our ass up. It wasn't a lack of effort.
Yeah.
It was, some might say luck, some might say the win, but it's just we didn't make the most of our opportunities, and it definitely wasn't through lack of effort because you could see how hard we were going. We kind of got on top in certain patches of the game, but we never got our flow going. If we did, I think it could have been a different story. But in saying that, Hawks were a phenomenal team. Like they win the next two as well by 10, 12 goals or something in both those games. So we lost by 14 or 15 points that day, and to a superstar team where we never really got flying how we should have.
Yeah.
What was it like being at the club during that time? So 13, 14, 15, grand final, prelims, competing, finished top, I think, in 15. Mm-hmm. What was the energy like around the club? Just confidence?
Yeah, unreal. It was you'd walk out on the ground and you're surrounded by Pavlich, Sandilands, McFarlane, Johnson, Fife, Mundy. It's like, good luck to the opposition.
Yeah.
That was one thing I remember. I'd look at the opposition and I think these boys are going to have to be on their game to beat us today.
Nice.
And that was every week. It didn't matter who. And I actually enjoyed playing against the best teams, which was it was the Geelongs, it was the Hawks, it was those top. I love playing against them. They're the best.
The real tests.
Like if we want to be the best, that's who we've got to beat. So I'd much rather play top seed than kick a bag against the bottom dwellers.
Yeah.
I'd much rather go against the big dogs.
For sure. I just want to quickly go back to 2011 goal of the year. Did you get anything for that?
Yeah. So I thought I got a car.
Well, that was the general assumption would be that, yeah.
I got a TV, a couple of cameras and a surround sound package. And I got a medal last year. So you get a medal for it.
13 years later.
Yeah, because I think I was booked in for surgery or something. I couldn't go to the actual the All Australian presentation night where they present it. And Fifey went and he collected it for me, and then he lost it. And then I got a message from Frizz at AFL House saying, "Did you ever get your medal from Goal of the Year?" I said, "No." She sent me a photo of it. She said it's been in storage for the last 12 years. So she sent it over, and I literally got it last year, and my daughter took it straight away, and it's on her bedside table.
Oh,
she
that's
loves
awesome.
it.
Oh, nice.
That's unreal. Do you want to quickly talk about your family? You've got a few kids?
Yeah, 3 girls, so I'm in a bit of trouble. But the oldest is horse fiend, absolutely loves it. The middle one, gymnastics. She's very, very good at gymnastics. She does on the beam, does this backflip into another backflip to land. And it's like,
that's unreal.
I'd do a hamstring just looking at it. But yeah, she's a great gymnast, great athlete. I've never encouraged any of them to do football, but if she did football, I'd be pretty happy because she'd dominate, I reckon.
How good is it as well, sorry to interrupt, but with the AFLW becoming like a lot better?
Yeah, well, the girls never really had a pathway. Like they got to under 12s or whatever it was, and there was nothing else for them. And now the girls have a pathway where they could actually make a career out of if that's what they want to do. So, yeah, like I said, I've never encouraged it, but if that's what they want to do, I'd support them all the way. Like the eldest did play one season of football, got really good, and then she broke her arm falling off a horse. So she said, I don't want to play football anymore. And I said, you broke your arm riding a horse. Yeah, but I don't want to hurt myself playing football, so I can't ride my horses. So that's her priority, is the horses. And the youngest, she does play footy, Auskick. She loves it. Doesn't like the cold mornings, but she loves footy and singing. Like I can barely sing the national anthem, and she wants to bust out all these songs. So yeah, they're all very different, very unique, those three. But yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I think that's good that they're all unique. Like, it'd be a bit boring if they all did the same thing.
It's not good on the afternoon activity runs. Like we got horse riding, gymnastics, and singing. It's like 3 different drop-offs, 3 different pickups. So yeah, the taxi gets a fair workout.
For sure. I just wanted to ask this because for me, you were one of my favourite players. For others, you were like a pest or a hated player almost. How did that feel being on the receiving end of that? Did it actually have a toll on you, or did it spur you on?
It kind of spurred me on a bit, because if I was pissing people off, clearly I was doing my job pretty well. But the one other thing, I knew I could back up what I was saying and doing as well. Like I knew I could kick a goal and let everyone know about it. Yeah. So, and the other thing, if the pressure and all the hate was directed at me, my teammates got a bit of a free run at it as well. Like I could take the heat. I actually enjoyed it and thrived off it. Like I remember we played a game against Carlton, and I had a good kick 4 or 5 goals and got stuck in a little cut, and all the crowd, like they were yelling some funny, and I was just, boys, you're going right, like just trying to wind them up a bit. But in the same breath, I've never had generally people will say, I couldn't stand you, but I wish you were on my team, because they kind of could see what I could do.
It's like the ultimate
field.
Compliment, isn't
it? Yeah, 100%. Like, you're a prick, but fuck, I wish you played for us. Yeah. So it was a compliment, and there's lots of keyboard warriors out that like to say things online, but no one's ever said anything to me in the street. So either they're
funny, that isn't it?
Yeah, either they're pansies or maybe there might be an element of respect there as well.
For sure. Just wanted to also talk about this because I vividly remember when Andy Brayshaw got hit by Gaff, and then you targeted Gaff because obviously there needs to be a response from the team.
Yeah.
What are your memories around that day?
I was on the bench actually when it happened, and Lockie Neal said Gaff just punched Andy, and I was like, but no, because I played international rules with Gaffy, and he's actually the most quietest down. Look, I don't even think you know. You see the punch itself, like he doesn't even know how to throw a punch. Yeah. So it's the fact that he said he punched him, I'm like, no. And I was seeing the replay, I'm like, oh my God. I don't think he actually meant to get him in the face.
No, I agree.
I think he went there, but he still broke his jaw.
Yeah, there was a level change as well. Andy was coming down.
I think it was just a bit unlucky, but it still happened. And
did that make you
I saw red, he was our best first year player, gun, and he's been punched in the face and broken jaw. Yeah. So I saw red and I was out for blood, and the half-time or three-quarter time siren went, and as we're going back out, I asked Ross, can I get this bloke? Yeah. And I know Ross thought about it. He wanted to say yes, but he said no. And said, don't do anything. And I didn't listen. I went first centre square bounce. The ball's just bobbled out and Gaff's coming for it. And I thought, my eyes just lit up.
The quickest I've seen you run.
And I did, beelined it, and I've come in and with a big swing, and he's seen me coming, he's turned. Yeah. Instead of getting him where I wanted to, I got his hip. Yeah. And then my thumb, it still just pops out.
Oh.
And,
can you just show the camera that?
Jeez.
Bendy.
And I didn't even, because the adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
A big melee starts, and we had it wasn't a punch on, but it was pretty close. And anyway, the trainers come over and give me a drink. I've gone to squeeze, and it wouldn't squeeze. I'm like, what's going on here? And it's because it was just flopping around. So I had to get it strapped up, finish the game, and had a few more cracks at him, but it felt like nothing really. Yeah. I couldn't. You don't want to get suspended and let the team down again, but you want to make a point of we're not copping that shit. So it wasn't the demo derby I was hoping for, but I kind of wish it was.
Also, just before we get into the racing part of your life, I just wanted to ask about international rules, because that's something that's intrigued the both of us for so many years. What was that experience like playing for Australia?
Yeah, unreal. Like, you're flying over with the best players in the AFL. Like, the best, I think 25 went over.
Yeah.
24, 25 went over. And you spend 2 weeks together. You have a week. We were pretty lucky. We had a week training camp in New York, and then we trained at the Jets facility in New York. Like, just phenomenal setup. And then flew across to Ireland for another week there, with the game being in the last couple of days. And then me and my wife stayed for an extra week. But you playing with the best players. You know, we had Alistair Clarkson was the coach, Chris Scott and Ross Lyon were the assistant coaches. Like, a pretty decent lineup of coaches. And the funny thing about the coaches is those three in particular were so similar in the way they saw the game. They just had different terminologies for different things, but they just saw it the same and coached very similar, just with different ways of saying things and getting their point through. But yeah, the actual game itself, it was 3 degrees. It was so fucking cold. It was ridiculous. When you're out there playing, it was all right, because we had like long sleevers, and when you run around, it was fine. You get off the ground, they give you this heated jacket, and they went to give it. I said, no, I'm all good. And then about a minute later, I'm like, bring that jacket over, because it was so cold. The hard thing was trying to direct the ball, because it's a round ball.
Yeah.
Like, you can direct a footy because it's, you know, oval shaped, but a soccer ball, you have to get a bit of a spin on it so it curves the way you want it to. And that was a bit of a, you had to work on that to try and get the right curve. There was one play, I've marked it kind of on the it's a rectangle shaped ground, so kind of on the forward flank type thing.
Okay, yeah.
And I wheeled around, and we had a free player, and I've like gone to do what I would normally do, like a real spear pass.
Yeah.
Because I didn't put any spin on it, it spun the other way, and it's gone and went the opposite direction. So yeah, trying to get the right spin on the ball was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, it was a unreal experience, something I'll never forget.
Some of the Irish players, pretty good athletes, but they're built a bit different.
They're a lot leaner, very fast, but they don't tackle in their game. They kind of like scrag and bump, but they don't actually have full tackle. So we had a bit of a advantage in chase downs. We got a lot of chase down tackle because they're not expecting it. Like, it's not natural for them. But I remember me and Eddie Betts were the small forwards in the game, and we knew that one of the small defenders was a MMA fighter who trained with like Conor McGregor and those guys. And like, fuck, I hope he doesn't come to us. I won't be able to say too much for the game. And of course, he lined up on me for the first part. But yeah, and then afterwards, the Irish boys took us out for a night on the town, and God, these boys can.
Must have been a good night, eh?
They can put some piss away. I'll give you a tip.
That's awesome. Just wanted to get onto your racing. So you are a race trainer, and obviously you said it runs in the family. Your dad was doing this stuff too. Give the listeners, because like not all of them love racing, but just let them know what you're about and what you do and what horse training is about.
Yeah, so I bought my first horse while I was still playing, Mankind. He was kind of like my little getaway from footy. Like, everyone's got something to distract them from footy, because it's a big commitment footy, so you need something just to wind down a bit. And he was my little wind down, and a few of the boys got involved, a couple of other mates got involved, and he was a great little horse. I think he ended up winning 8 races and picked up some good money from him. And I got the bug again, and I was always going to train a few just because I love it and keep an interest. And we've got 18 at the moment, so it's a fair team. And it's just something that is in the blood, and love doing it. And it's kind of like you get a lot of adrenaline from playing footy, but it's over a 2-hour period where with a race, it's, condensed into like 2 minutes max. So yeah, the adrenaline rush you get when your horse comes around the bend and starts to let down and goes past first, it's
it must be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, there's no better feeling. And also the build, like 8-week pre-season for them, and you have a trial. That's like your
pre-season
game into your first race. It's the build up, and then when they win, it's just a great feeling. And then to see the owners, like absolutely love it, and they get on. They've got winners bars now, so if you win a race, you go in the bar and you get free drinks till the next winner comes in. So
this is something we've discussed because we
love going to the races. It's such a good day.
It is. It's mint.
The last couple of years we've gotten into it, and like my family's always been involved in racing in some capacity, but I didn't really grow up around horses. Like we live on property, but we had horses there that weren't race horses or anything. So I didn't know too much about it, and then just through getting closer with Dad in that regard, I've learnt so much. And then taking the boys along to Ascot, and we'll even go to Belmont a little bit in the winter. But it's just been great. And like, it's a good day, like as a punter, but also the thrill, like you said, you might not even have any horse in the race. Yeah. But the thrill when you hear the horses come around the bend, and it's something unbelievable.
Unreal.
Yeah. So I've been involved in racing my whole life. Yeah. And even so Belmont, you can actually stand like at the 200 metre mark, and you can hear them coming. You hear the jockeys screaming to try to get that bit extra out of their horse. Like, even I get goosebumps listening to that. Like, it's just, it's an unreal feeling. And unless you're in it and love it, you can't really understand it. But if you do want to get into it, like, I guarantee you, if you have a winner, there'll be no better feeling.
100%. A couple of questions sent in from my dad, actually. Who is your favourite jockey in Australia at the moment? It doesn't just have to be Perth, just in general.
Tash Faithful at the moment. She rode a winner for me last week, so she's my favourite.
There you go.
Everyone talks about how good Pikey is, and like he rode a couple of winners yesterday, and he just doesn't panic. Like, there was a horse that got 3 or 4 lengths out in front of him leading the race. He just knew he had plenty of horse left, and waited 200, gave a little kick, and it just went past. Like, you when you watch a wizard, as they call him, at work, it's pretty impressive.
100%. Our favourite jockey is Lucy Fiore at the moment.
Yeah, she rides a bit for me too. Yeah,
so
she's going well.
She saved the day for us once in the last race. It was the feeling was ridiculous.
But her season, this race season, has been unreal. Like, she's placing in a lot of races and seems to be doing really well. So you've worked a bit with her. What's she like? Yeah,
she's good. Very good horse person. Yeah. Like, her family, the Warwicks, they've been in racing forever. So she was brought up around horses. So she's always had that good core of riding in her. And I think Luce started riding a lot more races. She was going to Kalgoorlie and riding in all these races. And it's like anything. The more you do stuff, the more in tune you are. And now she's flying, like riding in. I think she rode 5 last couple of weeks ago at Ascot. Like, that's like kicking a bag of 6 or 7, really, if you're riding 5 winners. So yeah, she's flying, but she's put the hard work in to get to there. So well deserved. And her husband, he just got his license a couple of years ago and trained a couple of winners. So no, they've got a good little setup down there. 100%.
Who are some of your other favourite Perth jockeys, or the ones that you click with and work with best in Perth?
Jared Noski, he's another one I use quite a bit. He's he rode our Perth Cup winner talent show, and I think he only just finished his apprenticeship when he rode that. Like, he was quite young, and he's a very good jock. I use him as much as I can. Stevie Parnham, he's another one. He rides a bit for me. Paddy Carberry, he rode one for me yesterday. But yeah, it's certain horses respond to certain people as well. Like Lucy, she rode Sentimental Queen. She was probably my best horse. She rode her a lot and really responded to Lucy. Same as Planet Cash rode. He won quite a bit of money as well. Like, certain horses respond to certain jockeys at the same time. Where just about every horse responds to Pikey. That's why he is who he is.
Yeah. Would you say Pikey's the best in WA?
Probably the best in Australia, to be honest. Yeah. Like, for his strike rate. I know they talk about J-Mac and guys like that, and don't get me wrong, J-Mac's a superstar himself. Like, whatever the stupid number of Group 1s he's won, it's ridiculous. But, Pikey, the 246 winners in a season, like, that's just unbelievable. So, he's albeit he gets a lot of the better horses, but
you get that through being good though.
But but then he it's another thing to get the best horse, another thing to get it to win. So generally he gets them to win. Bob Peters, he's probably the biggest owner, breeder in WA. He said to me once, he goes, all jockeys make mistakes. William just makes less.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's actually a pretty good point.
I like it.
William makes less.
What about the best horses that you have that you're training at the moment? Like ones to look out for?
So Countess Kenna, she's the one that won last week. She's late mature. She's a 4-year-old now. Had a few little issues. Had a little chip in her knee that we had taken out a while ago. But she won a race, albeit it was only a maiden at Pinjarra. The way she won it was pretty solid. So I reckon she's one that's going to go good. Carnot Queen, she ran 3rd yesterday. Going to put her to a 14 next start. She's going to be good. Cheapest horse ever bought, actually. So
really?
Funny that the cheap ones can also win races. And I got a little 2-year-old filly, Paint It Red. She's had 2 trials this time in. Won both of them. Second in the first one, first in the second one. And she's going to be pretty special. She's a little bit sore today, a little bit shin sore, but give her a month off and I think she'll be winning some races soon, hopefully.
Beautiful. And do you have a message for those who don't agree with racing or something? Because we've had listeners go, "Oh, why are you talking about that?"
Yeah, we talk about it a lot because we love going and all that.
Yeah.
But there's obviously the pushback that you get.
There's
sometimes.
also misconceptions.
Yeah.
So can you just give a little bit on that? Like what your thoughts on like the good parts of the industry and what is misconstrued?
Yeah. So the way I'd see it, my horses definitely, and I know 99% of the horses in the industry are treated better than some people are treated. Like they get 3 square meals a day. They get the shit picked up for them. They get the clean water.
Kings and queens, aren't they?
Yeah, they go out in the paddock for an hour a day, pick on grass. They're very massage, physio. If they're sick, they get treatment. If they're sore, they get treatment. Like they are very well looked after because in our best interest. We want to win races. So the better we look after them, the better they're going to perform. So
100%.
And they're athletes. Like they're athletes.
That's what we say, bro.
Yeah,
They're bred for a job.
Yeah.
And their job is to run fast. And like we want them all to run fast. Not all of them do. But we retired one not long ago. My daughter has him now. And he's a show jumper. And he's the prettiest show jumper you'll ever see. And he's fat as a house and loving life in the paddock. And a horse that's sound, has a nice nature, will live a long, happy life. They live, I can't remember all the numbers, but they live, I think, double the years than if they were out in the wild.
Yeah.
Because they're so well looked after.
Yeah.
And then also, like, there's always going to be falls and injuries, but it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Like it is part of it, and albeit they're minimised, there's a lot of safety things that tracks need to tick off. If there is an issue, races are called off straight away. Like if there's an issue with the track, there's lightning, if there's any
heat.
Heat, and I agree with it. Like you don't want to because you want your horse to be good for the next race.
Yeah.
If they're going to race in 40-degree heat and you fry them and they're no good for a month, then it's no good for us either. So you want to look after the horse because it's in their best interest for them to go again. And like if you have a horse that doesn't want to do it, I think the best example would be Chautauqua, my favourite horse, one of my favourite horses. He was a superstar. Like I've never seen a horse make up ground like that thing. And then he just decided, I don't want to do this anymore. Stop jumping out the barriers.
Yeah.
Bang. No worries, mate. Now he's the same. He's a champion hack, like just goes around hacking, looks pretty and wins all these ribbons now, not races, and living a good life. So if someone kicked up a stink about it, I'd say go to a stable, see how well looked after these horses are, and if that doesn't change your mind, then
don't know.
Fuck off. I don't really care. Anyway, I know I look after my athletes, and
100%.
very well looked after.
And I saw a few of the Freo boys part owners. Well, they were in Mankind.
Yep.
Are they any of the Freo boys on anything now or ex-players?
Yeah, so Alex Pearce, he's in Playing God gelding we bought last year. Lockie Neal's in on that. We actually got the opposition in on one too. The Waterman boys, Chris Waterman.
Oh, that's exciting.
Chris Waterman being my old coach,
Yeah.
And his young bloke, they jumped on board. They got a share in that as well. So yeah, we've got a fair mix of ex-players in now.
That's unreal.
Current players.
Now let's talk about your fight. You know, we teased it to the listeners before. You're fighting Brent Harvey. I just want to go through a few notes here. It's a new boxing promotion. The only other one is at Metro City in Perth. premier fight night. It's a pro-am. So you got professionals,
Yep.
you got amateurs. A show like this hasn't been done in 8 years. Obviously, you're fighting Brent Harvey, a former North Melbourne player. 7 pro fights, 9 elite amateur fights. It's going to be elite. We've even got Shadow, the rapper. He's doing some work there. And obviously, it's for a good cause. So it's for mental health. Do you want to talk a little bit about the cause? And then we'll go into the fight, your lead up, stuff like that.
Yeah, so the charity that we'll be fundraising for is Zero to Hero for mental health. So, it's selfishly, I got into it because it gave me a good excuse to get fit again, get into some sort of shape. But at the same time, we're raising some money for a very good cause. And even in the AFL, like there's a lot of stories that have been going on recently that it's what really needed in the community, not just abroad, but in the AFL as well. So, yes, I'm pumped to be involved. When I first agreed to it, I said, yeah, why not? We'll, raise some money for the charity. And a couple of weeks later, I got the full rundown. RAC, 6,000 people. Oh, geez, I didn't think it was going to be that big. But I'm super excited now, and training's been solid, but I'm feeling like I'm in pretty good shape.
Only a couple of weeks out now. What are you going to do to him?
I said this on other podcast the other day. I've pre-booked him the ambulance for round 2, so that was
Get him out of there.
That was my little bit of cheek for it. But no, he's been training pretty hard as well. He's trained for a while in not so much sparring for a fight, but just for fitness really. So he seems like he can throw a few, but I've got pretty good hands as well.
You can throw him better?
Yeah, I think so.
I like that. Like you said, you've been training for a long time, and having that like concentrated time now where you're putting your all into it, must be good.
I've built up a good base early, like doing that. I trained down in Mandurah, Fighter Fit down in Mandurah, and they're renowned for their fitness. Like they go the whole way, like they're animals. Yeah. And it actually gave me appreciation for what, just the amateur fighters do to get up for a fight. Like, God, they train so hard. There's, one of the boys from there, Aaron Fury, he's leaving for America today to go represent Australia, and like the training he does, like he's a big man, and God, he trains hard. We were running together, and like he was going all right for a big guy. He's a good runner. Rory Booth, he's another one trains. He's got Olympic aspirations, and to see them go to work and get fit, it's pretty bloody impressive, and they're doing it for the love. Rory won his fight. Last fight I went and watched, Rory won his fight, and he goes, $160. So like all this training that they fund themselves, and that they get a bit of sponsorship here and there, but that's all funded by themselves. And he was stoked because he won $60. Cost me $45 to get in for the fight.
And we've also got some proper pro fights here. We've got the main event, Perth's very own WA Boxing, Jackson, England versus Sydney, Jai Lane Taylor for the IBF Pan-Pacific belt. Then the co-main event, Ben Innes and Richard Lockett, local boys, for the ANBF Australasian belt. So plenty of stuff there. Obviously, the great Ryan Kong and James Lindley are the promoters. We've got 2 weeks to go. It's going to be great. Do you have any final messages for Boomer?
Get ready, son. Get ready.
I like it.
You'll see what the roof of RAC looks like.
Have you picked I like that. Have you picked a walkout song yet, or?
I have. Should I say that, or should I keep that quiet? No, I'll keep that quiet.
Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet.
So obviously you wanted to fight an ex-West Coast player. I think I heard on the radio you were throwing names like Ben Cousins around, people like that. No one came to the party?
No. So obviously, because of the past instances, I first wanted to call out Gaff. I said to the boys, get on a Gaff. Get in. But Benny Cousins, I rang Benny and just said, what do you reckon? But he had shoulder surgery a few months ago, and the surgeon said, nah, mate, you just fry it. But we hit up everyone similar weight and height, and no one's good. Actually, Mark LaCroix showed a bit of interest, but he's up north doing his fishing show, so he was ruled out. So.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, a couple of small forwards. We actually, on the field, we used to go at each other pretty hard. Because he's got a bit of shit in him too. But off the field, like, he's actually a good fella. Like, we've done a couple of functions together, but it's like crossing the white line at footy. Once you get in the ring, you're not mates. You're out there to do a job.
Almost like all respect goes out the window until after the fight.
Yeah, it's not the respect. It's more like the the nice
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Like I'm not your friend. I'm like when I was on the field, I'm not their friend. I'm
Yeah.
there to win a game. Like I'll shake hand after the game, but until then,
Yeah.
like, I want to hurt you. You
like
probably
that.
want to hurt me. Same as in the ring. Like the gloves are on.
It's on.
Let's fucking dance.
Do you reckon it's in your favour that it's in your own backyard? It's in Perth.
Oh, not really. Like it's just a ring. Like it's
Yeah.
it's same as footy. Like it's just a footy oval. If you think of it that way, you're just trying to make an excuse, really. So
Does it get you up and about fighting in front of a crowd rather than just in sparring in the gym?
maybe when I get there,
Yeah.
I'll probably get a couple of butterflies, but I never used to get nervous because I used to prepare well, and I think I'm prepared really well for this. Like I've trained hard and I'm pretty fit, so I think I never really used to get nervous for games. I used to hate driving to the game. I just needed to get there.
Yeah.
Once I got there, I was calm. I was sweet. I'm there.
Yeah.
Not going to be late. I can get on the ground, touch the grass with my feet and feel good. But yeah, the getting just get me there. Get me there, and I'll do the rest.
After this fight, would there be any opportunity to do another, or do you reckon you'd?
I've actually been hit up by a couple of people, but we'll just get through this one first.
Yeah.
Get through this. See how we go.
Get through with the win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Unfortunately, we can't be there. We're down south for Dill's birthday.
We are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we would love to have come, but
Live streaming. They're live streaming it. Yeah.
We'll pop it on.
Live stream.
Yeah.
Live stream from one of the wineries.
at least.
There you go. That sounds good.
Yeah, we will be actually be going
Yeah.
down probably on that day actually.
Yeah.
It's funny about live stream.
Yeah.
Little story. I took this is the youngest daughter. She kind of misses out. She gets dragged to pony club and gymnastics and all
Yeah.
that. So she actually said something one day. I said, "What do you want to do? You tell me and we'll go do whatever you want to do." She goes, "I want to go to Bali." I'm like, fuck. Righto, let's go to Bali. So we booked tickets. We actually got good cheap flights and went over to Bali. And my horse was racing that weekend. And we went to Atlantis, I think it's called, or Atlas.
Beach Club,
went to Atlas
yeah.
Beach Club
Yeah.
because there was the Bali Geckos had a big tournament. And all the
yeah.
boys
Oh,
went
cool.
down there, so we went down there, had a few beers. I said, "What do you reckon? You reckon they can get the races up on the the big screen above
Yeah,
the pool?" So we had Kalgoorlie races in Bali live stream.
Kalgoorlie races.
up in the pool, and it kept cutting out, and he hit the front with about 200 to go. He won the race, and the fucking live stream cut out, but then afterwards the price come up. So
That would have been a
everyone
good day.
Oh, it was mint. It was
Yeah.
so good. Like live racing from Kalgoorlie
Yeah.
in Bali.
That's elite.
I love that.
Wow.
All right, Hayden, just before we wrap up, we've got one question we ask all of our guests this. It's a pretty loaded question, but how would you like to be remembered?
Someone that never took a backward step.
I love that. I
think that's been proven.
And that's
Yep.
probably the most short, sharp, and just cut to the chase answer we've had, and I love it.
Yep.
Cheers.
That's what I like. Don't shy away from anything.
I love
No
that.
backward steps.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on, and we hope you enjoyed it, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.